Good morning and welcome back to another episode on the Coin King channel. I'm your host down the Crypto TA. Got a little bit of a bounce yesterday following Trump's speech, Davos speech that he gave in Davos anyway. So we got a little bit of a bounce following that yesterday, and we sold off a little bit and bounced back up again. We're just kind of sideways inside of this the squeeze right now. We are hitting standard deviation one on the daily time frame. I'm just chilling right now. I'm not in any sort of a long position at this moment. I did get I trailed my stop loss on my last long position. I got stopped out for the rest of that trade with this little bottom right here. So I am looking though for another opportunity. I am still short. I do still have my short position going. It's doing pretty well. Waiting for the Bitcoin to make some sort of a decision in here right now. Again, just kind of squeezing. I mean, we're getting to a point where we can't do anything more than break to the upside or break to the downside at this point. I am seeing some slight. We had a little bit of bullish divergence in here coming off of this low, but again, just kind of stalling out here with the standard one right here. If we do start to break the top side of this, then I will be looking for price to come back. Let's just say about 92, 427. I'll be looking up here at that line there. And to the downside, maybe we come back in here towards the 87.7, something like that. I've updated the liquidity zones throughout here too. We do have like a golden pocket that's sitting right here. Price was a little slightly off from that, but we did tap into that 786 bid retracement from one of the local pools that I did earlier. Let's take a look here. Let's just go through here and just kind of see. This is the golden pocket that I'm referencing right here, and this is from the absolute low to our local high up there. And we just kind of front ran this a little bit. I'm also interested in the liquidity that sits through here as well. So this liquidity that we have in here, we have these relative equal lows in here. I'm interested in that liquidity being hit. We didn't do that yesterday. Again, just a 786 bounces is what I've seen. I'm sorry for all the noise. We're getting early. So this is the 786 right here. So when we lost that golden pocket, or even this trend line through here, which is coming from our bear flag. So the higher lows that we've been making throughout here, or we just say that this trend line is coming from the higher lows that we've been making throughout here. We did manage to reclaim back above it, and that's great. We're also above the 50 in here, and that looks nice as well. The only thing, again, is when I look here, price action is moving a little bit fast throughout here. You can see right here a bear div against this high right here. Now, and again, RSI is also squeezing. I'm not going to attempt to call this one because we can still push up even though I'm seeing this. Even though I'm seeing this, price action can still push up. Now, I don't like the gap in between here, but that tends to happen too, like I said, when there's some sort of a squeeze, RSI rests in between these two moving averages in here. Little cloud cover in here. So I'm just going to wait for price action to break out on either side, and then I'll make my decision from there about the long. I'm already short again, so I don't need to worry about the short. But if I'm going to get long off of Bitcoin again, then I'm waiting for a decision to be made in here. Let's see. And this was just the levels that I was looking at a couple of days here on the chart with you guys. And go ahead and delete this stuff in here. So you can see how we're at the standard one, and we're just kinda, getting seeing some rejections from it here on this daily time frame. Makes it a little clearer when you see those wicks right there. So we are rejecting here a little bit. So again, if it does break to the upside, then great. I know how hard this section right here was for us to get past and, prior to meeting this this zone again. Like, it was very difficult through here. Look at how many wicks we got just trying to push through this area first time, and so it's a troublemaker again right now. We get above it, maybe we have a chance to flip it back into support again as we did when we got this dip right here, as we did over here with where it was, holding as a support level, but it is a struggle every time we come into this level, and you can see again, we're kinda struggling right here with it right now. The thing I appreciate is that we are back above this trend line right here that connects our higher lows. We did not take the liquidity from here, so, I mean, we do have a lower low in here right now, so we did go lower than this point in here. The next thing, I guess, if we do manage to get through here, like I said, maybe we get up in here around about 92.4, something like that, or perhaps even up here to 94.7. Um, have a fair value gap in here as well, and then we have this old trend line through here that connects here. Maybe this wants to continue to act as some sort of maybe to act as some sort of a resistance, and then we'll continue that move down. But no direction, no true direction right now. Let me put this on my last 6 in here as well. Weekly, weekly. The thing for me with the weekly was basically just not, being able to reclaim back above this standard one right here for the weekly time frame. I guess whatever's gonna happen on the weekly is really not gonna make the greatest difference. It'll be late, whatever happens there. I do wanna talk about this monthly time frame because, I know we're looking at the bear flag, and I don't really like this candle right here, but we have several days for this candle to shape up and recover. So I'm not gonna put too much emphasis on, this sort of inverse, hammer candle at the moment. But I do like the trend line through here. So this is the same trend line that we had in here before. So this is the trend line where initially I had it something like this, but I adjusted it. But along with that, we've been respecting standard one in here on the monthly time frame for quite some time now. I'm gonna turn on the Bollinger Band and take a look at that. But nice little channel through here. But when I look at the Bollinger, we are underneath that 20 SMA. Hold on, let me push out. Here we go. It's 3 month. So on this 3 month time frame, we've shown some decent respect to this standard one all throughout here. So every dip that we got prior to that, this one, and now this current one, we have shown a little bit of respect in here to it. So once we lose this line in here, and I will not be moving it again, this will be it. So I'm taking my focus off of the bear flag, higher low trend line, and I'm focusing on this trend line right here more than anything. And then once we break this one, then I can start to say, hey, we're gonna come down here to our golden pocket. Um, and look for a bounce there because you tend to get if this is the bear market, you know, all the technicals are aligning with it. You're always going to get a mean reversion, and that mean right now is sitting down here at 56. So you're going to get a mean reversion anytime you're constantly on the upper bounds of the Bollinger, it brings you back to a mean. You're gonna get a mean reversion, mean reversion, mean reversion, mean reversion, mean reversion, mean reversion, mean reversion. Throughout all of this, you're gonna get a mean reversion. So you're gonna end up coming down here at some point. We are. So I'm focusing on this trend line here and not so much on the bear flag. And if you wanted to get short on this, I would again wait for some sort of decision to be made. Short would be underneath here. Can wait on the back test also instead of jumping the gun on the trade. And let's see if this ended up being the entry. That's a little bit too close for comfort, to be honest with you. I'm trying to see if I can't grab. Let me try a little harder. Make something like this part right here, the entry, and change the stop, bring the stop down. Because if we're doing that, then we should not be coming back up here. So it will look something like this right here. And again, I am trying to give it a little bit of room away from the trend line here. This was the momentum line, the last momentum line that popped out right here. So if we're invalidating that push to the upside is what I'm really looking for when I do that. Let's see if we can't get that move down to here. And whatever that explosive move is going to be, it's going to come. And then again, if it breaks to the upside, we can do the same thing to the upside, but we don't need to rush in on the trade. Let me just put it like that. So to the upside, let's say we taking out, right now we're putting in, I don't want to be too far on that line. Let's do it like this. Because right now we are putting in higher lows and lower lows. I'm sorry, higher lows and lower highs. So this would be like this for me. And then I don't want to come back inside. And it's just based on where candles are currently sitting at. So this is what that looks like. And if it fails on either side, then you know the direction. You know that one side was a false move or a failed swing, and we're going in the other direction. It's just going to be that simple in here for me. So right now, this should be based on taking out this high is what I tried to do with that. And then what I tried to do down here is get this on this one. And this is super tight. Uh, and that's the little bullish divvy that we had earlier from that low there. And only if you're not already in a position, because if you did this long right here from yesterday, then that's different. I'm gonna kinda hang out on this chart right here, but I am gonna get into gold. Take a look at silver, take a look at copper. One chart that I haven't taken a look at yet is platinum. Um, so maybe I'll get a chance to check that out as well. I have gone through a couple of my stock picks, and I posted some charts pertaining to the stock market yesterday prior to the Trump speech. So early yesterday morning, I did put some posts out there. I posted on Netflix. I posted. Let's see, I got a chance to post on Netflix, and I did take a Netflix long position. I did it spot. Um, so I have my stop loss in place for that. If Netflix comes back down and drops below 80, I'll be taken out of that position that I opened up over on Webull. And I posted up on Apple as well. And I think Apple may have reclaimed. I will share that with you later. I posted on gold. I even posted on Palantir with you guys on the 20th, and I did take a long position on Palantir that morning, as I promised. I reposted on that on the profits. I did like a 47% gain on that one. I closed it out once it hit the golden pocket. Actually, I closed out a portion of it when it hit the golden pocket, and the rest of it got stopped out the following day. I did re-enter a new position on Palantir yesterday, which I've already closed out, and I see it pumping and just kind of, but I hate to leave my trade sitting open, and I did. I left that first one sitting open overnight, and I've explained to you quite a few times how BTCC is like when the market is closed. I don't care where your stop is or your take profit is. They disregard it. It only matters when market is open. I think they have something where you can like pay for protection or something like that. I think so. I've never used it, but I think I recall seeing something like that at one point. I think it's only fair that if I have a stop in place, I don't care if the market is closed or not, that it gets respected. But at least until 9, because my gosh, like you can still trade on. I know you can still trade on Webull up until 9, like certain assets, certain stocks. All right, bitty bitty bitty. I did not get a chance to go through and mock up Ethereum's chart or Solana's chart. I can say that we hit one of the weekly levels in here, SFP, um, on Ethereum yesterday, which, that was good. Um, it's coming down a little bit right now. So perhaps another SFP would work on that one, but I haven't gone through and mocked up and changed anything about these charts over here. I will get into them too. Just giving this a little bit of time, giving Bitcoin some time to do Bitcoin thing, and then I can look elsewhere. I cannot recall this one right here was about, but I am going to. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I recall this right here. And we had already back tested it, so I don't need it anymore. We did the back test on that one back here. Let me unlock it and get rid of that one. There is no need for this one anymore either. So that's gone. Keep a little pattern in here. And you can always make your own decision. Like if you don't like how I'm looking for the, for price to drop this far away from this trend line, then you can always change your mind. That at least gives the candle enough time to close. We put it like that. That gives the candle enough time to close. Because the candle can drop from here and um, and only take liquidity over the trend line as opposed to closing. So the closing candle really is the thing. So I'm hoping that whatever happens here first um, starts out a little light and then becomes aggressive. Uh, there's really no telling, though. Really is. Really is. And that is if the move is going to break down. I am going to go ahead and set up a limit long for the upside, though. So if it comes up and it hits that, then I'll go ahead and end the trade. It kind of would make sense for me to do it from here and then set an invalidation, but I'm going to set it for here. At least my validation would be closer if I jumped into a long off of this trend line right now that we're currently at. Mm, but nope, that's not what I'm going to do. Because I am me, and I just need to drop down to a blow fan chart so I can see what that entry is for me. It's funny that I'm not seeing blow fan right now. Did I pass it? Okay, there it is. Blow fan. I'm looking at. And then I can see where my stop is at. All right, so I got that in place for myself. Hold on. Did it go ahead and put me in this thing? I didn't ask for it to put me here. Now I seriously just got a limit on this. Oh, I did it wrong. I forgot that they'll do that. If your entry, that's okay. If your entry is above where price action is, they'll go ahead and put you into trade. I wasn't thinking about that, but that's what they did. So, okay, I'm already in it. I just leave it as it is. I needed to change the settings on it. Jeez Louise. And this stop is likely going to get hit because it's for the bottom side. It's for the low of this candle. So I would just be giving them some money right now. Let's see. I'll go ahead and change that stop. Change the stop on here for the low. Uh, it. Just did it. Okay, I got it straightened out. So I just ended up since it went ahead and put me into order from here, I just moved stop loss for this little pivot right here. I'll show you how show you how I made that mistake and got put in the trade too. Mm, anyway, my PC is dragging, so if I get stopped out, no big deal. I'm holding a short, so and it went ahead and put me in, and my stop is just below that. So you can opt to do it that way too. Like I said, if you wanted to do it based off of, if you want to do it based off of the trend line, whatever, it would be less risky. You see, dusk has continued to fall over. That's another one. That's another one. Dusk has continued to plunder. I'm looking at it on a 4 hour. Let me. Mhm. Those wicks on Ethereum's what's the time frame? I was just looking at on the monthly time frame. I don't really like those wicks. Doesn't say anything good about Ethereum right now. Okay, so while Bitcoin is doing that, I know I said I wanted to wait for it to break out on either side, but I can definitely see it from elsewhere. So Ethereum, all right, so this was Ethereum's higher low trend line right here, or momentum line right here. We are respecting it right now after we got the breakdown below it and the reclaim back test, and we're holding it. Another back test here, and it's being held similar to Bitcoin, but this looks almost like a descending triangle because it bounced there and bounced there. So it looks more descending. It looks more like I would be looking for price action to continue down on this one right here, as opposed to getting the break to the upside. I'm not going to proclaim it though, because as long as it holds in here, then it is to be respected and it still has potential of breaking the upside. So as long as it continues to hold here, cool. Since it showed that it wanted to care about it over here, I like it. Um, that's just that weekly level that was breached. You can see how we reclaimed it. It shows more of an SFP if we're on the 4-hour time frame. I like this. I like this portion right here of this move. Um, I still probably wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it until it got a break though. Break something, whether it's this low that gets broken or it's this high that gets broken. I need for it to break something. But definitely looking a little descending. In the pocket in here, just like Bitcoin. Yeah, doesn't look too good. Great right here, in my opinion. You can see the SFP a lot better now. Right there. Doesn't look too great, in my opinion. Um, this momentum from this 50 is still gliding down, which means that price can, even if it does get a move up, it'll come back down and revisit it. Kind of like over here, you can see how it's still gliding down over here, so a push up and then come back and revisit it. That could be a thing. So no need to be in a rush on that one either. And what I was saying is, still have the level in here too to look back at if Ethereum does want to continue that move to the downside. So that 27, 26 still still been our range bound from this one up to this one has been our range bound. So we've just been sideways throughout all of this. Um, if you like a fixed range on this, let's just go with that. All right, holding above point control at the moment. Still holding that momentum line in here. This zone through here we've been looking at because it does have some pretty good volume through there. I don't like this. And this is what I mentioned I don't like. I don't like these two wicks in here. Not a good look. We still got time on this monthly close, so hopefully, this doesn't close like this because it looks bad. It looks bad. With those larger wicks to the upside, that would just be our continuation move to the downside. Let's look back at Bitcoin real quick here. Okay, so we're still flirting with that standard deviation one at the moment. So yeah, I don't like this. We still got time. Solana really, yeah, it held the golden pocket 786. I think we have been looking at this for a little while, and we have that first initial break, and yeah, it's fine right now. Value area low continues to be respected in here for Solana. So I will continue to use that as a place of entry. Solana comes back down here towards the value area low. In my opinion, it's a good place to buy it. We also continue to have this unbroken momentum running through here as well. So yeah, that's something to look out for Solana. Um, I'll tell you what that value area low is. I didn't really care for that time frame. 15-minute on that. It's about 123.52, something like that. 123. So it comes back into about 123. Yesterday's drop, or this weekly drop. I think it came from yesterday. It was 124. So yeah, we'll play it until it breaks. Bitcoin with the rejection again off of that standard one right here. All right, a little peeky boo off the bottom of that trend line there. I was wondering, like, why is my like why is my loss, if this trade goes against me, why is my loss so small? I realized that I typed my numbers in wrong. I typed my numbers in all wrong. I'm just starting off everything all wrong. I like that divine intervention though. Love that divine intervention. At least I thought I did. Hold on. No, I didn't. I typed it in here right. Okay. It's just it's still barely a loss, which is great. I want to sound like I'm complaining about that. That's great. Let's see here. I got some good levels, like I said in that tweet I did on gold yesterday. We got some good levels on that. We did that other thing that we were looking at on the chart a couple of days. I think the last time we looked at was Tuesday. Tuesday, we were looking at that gap on silver. Silver dropped right down into that gap too. Oh boy, boy, got that bounce from that gap. So while Bitcoin is there, chilling, waiting for it to break that trend line if it's going to break down. You see that gap that we was looking at in here on silver came right down into this gap and got that bounce away. So Nice move on silver. That was the trend line that we was looking at on I think that was Tuesday where it broke that trend line. And so yeah. And then I posted on gold yesterday, um, I just mentioned some levels in here, so you can see this is one of the levels in here. I mean, gold. I haven't changed these previous day high, previous day low. I don't know if that's still the thing for it right now. Yeah, so that has changed since I plotted it there, but this is going to remain the same right here. So a nice hold support level given for gold here. Now gold does still have a gap in here though. At some point, because it lines up with this ascending trend line right here, I think that gold is going to come back down here and hit this. Let's see if it can't get a rejection off of this trend line right here first. If it comes back up and it back tests that maybe double top, that may put it to a measured move down there in this gap. Yeah, sure enough, it does. Only if that happens. So if it comes up here and even the SFP, even an SFP with that top, it's in a double top. This gap could be a thing. It's just so there's a lot of interest to me for price action to come here. Whether or not it happens, I have no idea, but it's a nice thought, right? Let's see. Copper continuing to fall, continuing to. So if you did do that copper trade right there, and you held on to any piece of it, copper is continuing to plummet, plummet. Now we'll be coming to standard one right here. Might be a consideration for standard one, and if not, then you know, this is yeah. Don't want to lose that right there. That 554. Don't want to lose that. So it may manage to get in here and bounce. Let me move the dailies on this. And go back and move the dailies on. Oh my God, that's how many days have passed by? Yeah, continuing to break those daily levels. So yeah, again, this is an area to look at right here. Or you can just wait for a break. Well, actually, these breaks have not been working for it. Um, Those are the two levels to watch. So if you're wanting to take a long off of copper, I would tell you that 570, and I would tell you 554. I know that we did look at something down here at one point. Can it get that bad? We'll see. It has to violate this first. And it has it has some okay support right there. Um, you might just want to keep following some daily time frame. It doesn't look too good. It doesn't look too good. I see Bitcoin starting to break that low, starting to break it. Got this candle just opened up on the 15-minute time frame, so it hasn't closed on it yet. Yeah, I mean this doesn't look too good. It was finally a successful breakdown, so it doesn't look too good. You can see how it's still holding right now on silver. With the bear div, I mean the bear div could be looking to finally play out. We'll see how this goes. Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty close with a cloud cover too. It's pretty close. This is the strategy that I mentioned before that I thought was the best strategy for it. And yeah, this is what I said was the best strategy for it. It is, and I was doing it from a 4-hour time frame, but it'll work on any time frame, and it is RSI Bollinger Band. It's a failed extension. It's what it is. It's what it is, and this is the exact strategy. You got a squeeze in here on the Bollinger. I said that was one of the things that had to be present. So the BP% needed to be in a squeeze. RSI had to be high, but in this case, divergence is also a good confirmation for it. um, MACD would turn flip colors from blue to like this aqua. Let's see, Bitcoin is breaking down in 11 minutes on this. Well, less than 12 on this close, but it looks like we're getting a break. I'm gonna come back to this because I know I don't want to leave anybody blindsided by the setup. So let me just step back over here and then I'll come back to silver. So I hope it's making a little bit more sense to you why I moved the entry down away from the trend line to not get caught up in a little bit of a false move or failed swing or failed breakdown, and to give the candle time to close underneath it. Because if it's going to validate, if it's going to be invalidated, it'll be clear if price action is down here. This is up off this line a little bit. I need to adjust that. When it happens, it will be quick. So yeah, it wasn't fast at all. It should be quick. That's squeezing. This is squeezing. Right now, we seem to be ranging in between standard one, up and down. Standard one on the downside is 89.80, and to the upside is 90. Back to chill right now with that. Okay. So silver looks like it could. It's nothing confirmed in here just yet. Um, for this breakdown, but I mean, it's leaning, but gold also has that same like kind of look to it right in here. But it didn't follow through, so it didn't actually break down below it at all. And then it got another additional push to the upside in here on this daily time frame. Still bear dividend. So I mean, we might still lose this and get a breakdown, like I said, and I would be looking for price to come back into that gap, which is the trend line through here. Bounced off of that again the other day. But I would just be looking for that. Go back. So, Palantir. I need to come back to this probably. Bitcoin is still holding within the wedgie structure right now. So okay. So with Palantir, what I was sharing on Palantir when I posted on it is when you take a look at the monthly time frame, like Palantir has respected, it's basically been respecting this right here since. I mean, this first line gets drawn on here back in April of last year. So had one little minor sweep of that liquidity, or one little minor sweep from this trend line right here. It's visible from this time frame. It's just different if I put it on the monthly time frame, which is what I base this off of, with monthly time frame. We're just kind of down below it at the moment. I do want to see it reclaim back in here, but I did take 2 trades based on that. We talked about this on stream on Tuesday, where I mentioned, oh, okay, so Palantir has respected this, the standard one for a very, very, very long time. So on the I have my drawings. When I go to the monthly time frame, what I shared was this situation right here. And you can see how forever, forever, Palantir has respected that standard one. And so I took a loan. I took profit. You know, it's very small when you compare it to a monthly time frame. But I want to be able to catch it. I'm going to continue to try with my long position. I took 2 successful long positions off of it. I'm going to continue to try with that because if it wants to hold here, then I expect for it to go higher. Now, if it does start to lose this level in here, then I have the areas that I'm looking at for Palantir. I think I mentioned one being right here, where this wick is at right here. So I was on this area right here out, maybe in here, and since I have the drawings turned off, you can't see it. But it's between somewhere within here and then somewhere right in here for me when it comes to Palantir. That's what I'll be looking for. But right now, I don't see a reason to not be risk on trying to take a long right here. If it fails, and I'm so close to being validated, if try it again. It's not something that you have to leverage trade either. You can just spot buy Palantir. But these prices don't have to use leverage on it. So if it's wrong, you're really not losing anything to take a chance right here. But definitely still put your stop in place. It just makes sense to have your stop. But I love how it's been respecting this. And it shows all it does. Since 2023, it's been respecting it. At some point, it is going to fail. Price is going to come down here and do a mean reversion at some point. But for the past few years, it has held. Then you can see my channel in here. I paired that with a golden pocket in here because Palantir tends to love golden pockets. Um, I kept the 7860 here just in case, but Palantir does love a good golden pocket retracement. And then you can see what that means would be down here. We have this next ascending trend line that if it does start to fail, that's what I start to look out for. Palantir. And the reason why this doesn't look like it's connecting is because I use a 24-hour. So now you can see the connection point from that. And if you were looking at it like this with like a triangle formation, I was looking at something else that has that same triangular formation. I'm kind of bearish on it. So, like I said, this is a little different. And if it holds up, great. If it doesn't, then just get stuck out in the story on that one. Palantir. All right, Amazon. Amazon is one that I am bearish on. So when I mention one that has the same exact formation right here, I'm bearish on this. I think the weekly time frame on Amazon is a bit toppy. I looked at the weekly time frame up to the monthly time frame on this one. Not really feeling it at all. Even if price does get a pushback up here, or let's just say price breaks above here, I'm looking to short it. I have two ways that I'm looking at shorting this, so just in case, because there are some suggestions that it could do like some sort of a break from the upside of this, but that it would not be as strong as some people might be looking for it to be. So maybe just an SFP or something like that. I'm either going to take the trade from down here, or if it gets the breakout, it comes up here. Those are the two options that I have right now for this. So it's either it breaks down here, and I do need to move this. Maybe not, because what I'm looking at is this low being taken out. So it'll either be from here or it'll be from here if it does manage to get the break to the upside. But that can change, where I might, make a new decision on entry. That could change. But I just think that if it comes all the way back up here to test this upside this trend line again, that it would likely break out, and then I would be looking for an SFP. So that's why I put that one here, as opposed to looking to take a short off of this one right here. And I do have it paralleled a little bit, so that's also why I'm looking there too. I'd rather have it break out and come back up here, and I take a short from here than to try to short this right here. If it can just go against me, or get this breakdown, and then I'm just looking for it to come back down here towards the blow of this on this channel right here. Now, if it does more like it did before, so I think this was a big break, a larger breakdown right here. Then I'll, I still have something left on the trade. But I am my bias for Amazon is bearish. It's bearish. It's bearish. It's bearish. So I want that breakdown. I want to see that breakdown. I'm really using it based on. I was looking at it based on the weekly time frame, but then I took a stroll over here to the 2 week time frame. So I'm patiently waiting. I'm patiently waiting. This is starting to rise up a little bit more in here. Maybe it'll do something like this. Maybe that means that this trade will come late. I can't wait on that. So uh, going for that, and then the stop. Like I said, just this trend line right here is all I would be looking for right here because it's not too often that it actually um, manages to move the lower dynamic value. There was this one time right here where it managed to move it, and every other time, I don't think that it managed to move it. Yeah, this time right here as well. So, for the most part, it's not going to move that cloud. So keeping that trade just about in here. Let's see. So Google did do a reclaim on this trend line right here, where it did, it started to break down. Even it didn't gap, but it started to break down right here. Um, it's still in euphoria, so it looks pretty nice, especially since it managed to reclaim that line here. Could look for an SFP on this one as well. To be honest with you, could look for an SFP on this one. So um, I think that there was some Microsoft got a call on it. Got some unusual option activity on Microsoft. Let's see. I think it's everything. I got nothing unusual calls from here from Microsoft. That's cool. I don't think I got the Microsoft just yet, but we're gonna get to it. All right, Bitcoin still that little space is getting tighter and tighter. All right. So yeah, nice reclaim for Google here. You can see what I'm looking at in here for Google right now. So 347 and 375. If it's going to continue to get this push up, but I would look for an SFP. Maybe price comes up, takes out this high right here, doesn't manage to get past this point right here, about 347, and then I would look for this line to get broken again. That's what I would look for Google. Not really feeling it. Not really feeling it. So let's find in here. Do we have a cloud cover in here? That usually insinuates that it's better to look for a short than to try to be long on this. But I mean, that's pretty decent. Nice little squeeze in here on it. We'll be looking for the 20 SMA to be broken on this as well, which the 20 SMA is probably down here somewhere or in between here. Yeah. So any one of these moves up here above on the previous high, I think that's a good place to look for a short position at on Google. Again, that's 347 and 375. Unless this little can't call it a shooting star anymore. Can't call it a shooting star anymore. Shooting star pattern, at least. That candle coming back up. So Microsoft, we covered Microsoft a while back, and since then this has been playing out on it. So I am looking for a long myself on Microsoft. So there is some unusual activity happening right now for Microsoft price action. Hopefully it'll get down here. So what I had been looking at when I was sharing this on stream was I was looking at the monthly. Yeah. So I got it. I have it in this channel. As you can see, this channel right here from Microsoft. Nice little channel that's been working for Microsoft. But Microsoft left this big gap behind right here on this monthly time frame. It did a double top formation. Double top measured move is down here to uh, 429. So we haven't quite made our way down here to 429 just yet. But I figured, okay, if it's going to come that low, maybe it'll just fall into this gap. Now, sometimes these gaps will act as support. So perhaps there's a reason to entertain a long position from here. If we finish playing this out on Microsoft, I'm really liking this sell off on Microsoft. I feel like this could be a great trade if it just gives me what I'm looking for. So filling in the gap, potentially coming back down here towards the bottom side of the channel. I would love to get long on Microsoft. Now, with the unusual activity that I'm seeing in here for Microsoft, I might not get that, but I'm gonna hold out, hoping that I do get it because there's a lot of interest coming in right now. Um, just looking at this sell off for it. I think right now, let's see how far has it come down from that top. It dropped this much, about 21% right there. If it dropped down into here, should say be about, yeah, about 28, 30%, something like that. And if it just did this, I mean, that's really good for stock market. It's really good. So I would like that. But you can see the double top um, that was being entertained, the double top. And that breakdown happened, back test here. So just want to get that gap fill. I just want to get this gap fill or come down and at least finish playing out the double top measured move. That would be great. And aim for a long here on Microsoft. Definitely looking for longs, not looking to short Microsoft at all. Who else we got in here? Tesla. Tesla. I still think at some point Tesla's going to come down here. About 315 is what I keep calling at you, about 315 on Tesla. I do still think that that's in the cards right now. Looking up on Tesla right now, at least to just fill in this gap right here. I think one gap has already been filled in on Tesla. So you can see that nice channel through here. It did get a break above here briefly right there. Um, in most cases, I would be looking to get this back up here to the top side of the channel, but right now, I do still think that Tesla comes down lower. Because in this, you see it filled in the gap right here. So that gap right there did get filled. Then there's another little small gap in here at where this long position ends at. So a little bit of a pullback. You can consider entering in on Tesla if you're interested in Tesla long right here. You can look at consider entering in on that. Now, if Tesla comes back and we start to lose this channel, and we also start to lose our standard right here. Again, we'll lock on that. I'm missing my center one. That's crazy. But I do aim for about 315. Hopefully that doesn't have to change because I don't have my center in here. And my center doesn't look like it's hitting that right now. Um, cool. That's about it on Tesla. Um, yeah, I don't think it goes too far. We'll see if it tries to. I mean, this is as much as I'm looking for. Again, I don't think it's coming back up here because again, I do still think that Tesla would come down lower to about 315. So for now, if it doesn't, look It doesn't appear to me that it's going to do more than that. No, that's what I got going on with Tesla right now. Who's this? Uber. I'm in the Uber long position spot, of course. We talked about this. I like this right here. Now, I can't say because I'm spot long on this Uber position. I'm gonna add to it. Um, if for some reason we don't maintain a higher low here. So if we don't maintain a higher low here off this daily time frame to come up and break whatever trend regression line is forming through here, then I would just look to add um, onto this Uber position. And I think that if we do start to come down lower, then I'm going to be looking at this trend line here and that weekly level down here about 72. Now, I'm not going to prematurely enter adding into my position um, unless it does something like this. Otherwise, what I have is what I have. I don't want to add too much to a losing position. Right? Um, I don't think you can go wrong with Uber. Sitting in your portfolio. But whatever this trend regression is through here, I'd like to see that get broken. I might entertain putting a measured move on this or claiming that it's some sort of an inverse head and shoulders. It's kind of around the top, and I don't really like doing that with inverse when we're too close to the top side. But this breakdown is rather fresh too. I don't think I was able to pull up. Yeah, so the breakdown is kind of fresh. Right now, I think the most we can do coming back up though is going to be just back here inside this box. Now there is a gap in here, so if price wants to come in and fulfill this gap, I could see that happening too. It would leave a wick behind if it did that, but I really don't see in the moment. I don't see it doing any more than this. I don't see it taking out the top. I don't see it taking out the high at all. Um, don't mind if I'm wrong, because like I said, I'm long, so I don't mind if I'm wrong. But yeah, it doesn't look like it does that. But I like Uber. I like Uber. Initially bought Uber. I think I told you the story before. I tried to be smart about Uber. Um, I think it was on this pullback right here. It might have been this one right here. I tried to be smart about Uber, like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna sell and then I'm gonna just get back in later or whatever. But it didn't work out for me. And I actually bought it down here and rolled it into here. I tried to be smart about it and I got it wrong. Um, and it went on without me. So at least I profited. That's not what we got here. Meta. So a little bit too late. Um, we got that first entry on Meta here. I did a whole video on Meta um, discussing where I thought price action was going to come back to. So that ended up playing out pretty well right there. Sell off happened again and just missed this bounce off of this trend line right here. Just barely missed it. Let's see, price is sitting at 630. Sorry, 624 right now. So price is sitting at 624 right now. So you just missed that bounce off of this trend line right here. But if Meta does come back through, now Meta has respected this trend line, this line right here. I think it's also like a 20 SMA or something like that here as well. And every time Meta has come to it, Meta has held it, at least since, yeah, since this 2022, I think that's what it was. Let me see. Let me turn on the SMA in here. Take a look at that. Oh yeah, 200 in here as well. That was part of the thesis for the video when I did it. And recall Meta was up here. We were looking at this as our target right here with the golden pocket. Also had a bunch of dark pool orders right here too for that long. So that was a lot of confluence right in here. But on the monthly, I believe it is. Yeah, on the monthly time frame, you can see how I said from here, but I'm so wrong by saying that when price action did come back down here, it held this trend line right here. You compare it with this. I really hate when a moving average kind of tilts up away from a trend line because I like for it to, I like them to run parallel to each other. But I think across this line right here, at one point, I think I had like a 120. I think that's what I had in here for my EMA. At one point was a 120 running parallel to this trend line right here. Um, but yeah, second time, second time with us looking at this trend line and price action holding it as support. So if it drops back down here a little bit, if it pulls back a little bit today, that may be a good long entry for you for Meta if you don't feel like Meta's going to continue to roll over. But if Meta does continue to roll over, this is what I'm looking at in here for Meta. I'm going to be looking at this zone right here to see if some sort of a bounce comes out of here. Right now, that's about 479, 414. And then I'm also going to be eyeballing this one right here too, because that is where our VWAP is sitting at the moment, along with that beautiful 60. So that's currently 384. It's about 346. So price drops back into here. That's when I'm going to start to analyze things and see if it's worth me to see if my long position is going to take place from here. Because I'm not in this position right now. I like it. I like it, but I'm not. I'm not in it right now. I wasn't paying attention to Meta's chart, and I haven't looked at Meta's chart in a while with you guys. It's been a while, and I decided to look back at it this morning and realize, oh, okay, we tapped the trend line twice now, and it bounced away from it again. Let me see something there. That's what it is. Now, let me turn that off. Let me turn this on. There we go. Yeah. So things start to get sticky right here for Meta too, which is why I can look down here at these levels. And that is if Meta, like I said, if Meta loses this trend line right here, um, and it's still get a bounce right here. I think you'll start to expand once it starts to break this trend line right here. I think you're at risk of an expansion, and then price can be rolling down here. We can be looking for this right here in that case for Meta. I think when I was looking at that, let me see, not enough data to go back on this 60 right here. This was the one time that we can see that they actually rolled over from that. And this is very important right here for Meta though. This level right here. Expansion starts from there. 567 expansion starts. And then that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking here. I'm looking here. There's no in between for me. Break that. I'm looking here and I'm looking here. Reclaim and I re-entertain. But right now it's holding. Right now it is holding. And you can look to these right here, support and resistance zones right here. I really don't always care for the center. It just depends on the time frame too. Um, that's meta. See who else we got in here. I told you I took a long on Netflix yesterday. I posted on it. Um, I said, because I updated one of the posts that I did do where I talked about Netflix potentially coming down towards 85 to 75. That was a long time ago when I did that post. I think I did that post early part of December. Yeah, it was the early part of December last year when I did that post on Netflix, and it has been rolling over. But then when I looked at it yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a chance off of this low of this channel right here, and that's exactly what I did. I also took a little bit of liquidity through here right here too. You can see that. So I took that long spot long, and again, my stop on this is $80. So if price comes back down and rolls below $80, I'm out. I reassess to look for price action to come down here for full mean reversion. About 62 bucks, 75. You can still look at 75, but it's taking some time for this to play out. And the bad thing about Netflix is when it rolls, it rolls. So I did a deeper dive on Netflix a while back too, where I talked about how when it sells off, it sells off, and one of the places that it returns to, or that it was returning to, was DWAP, and DWAP is all the way down here. So you'd be looking at something similar in this fashion right here. I think Netflix is a different time right now. Let me make sure I don't slip out that box in here before I draw a good one. I don't think I do. I can't remember. Some notes from here at the table. I don't even see the table right now. Send that one. Enough for me to not see the table. I can't. I do not know what my notes are at on this. All right, I put some notes in here, and okay, and click on it there. 35 size sound. That's nice. Thing started below 200 anyway. Currently below 40. Okay, blah blah blah. Means nothing to me right now. Turn this channel off. Um, but I covered how big of a sell off Netflix gets when it starts to roll over. So if I'm looking for something like that right there, then guess what? That adds up with down here. It adds up with coming back to this blue line seen right here. That adds up with that. And then when I take a look at not my memories, not my priors, where are my VWAPs at? I got my fibs. Got my fibs. I think that we were hitting like the 786 every time. Uh, Yeah, we were coming down somewhere around about 786 every time. So I can't adjust this, not be so petty. Don't be petty, guy. Don't be petty, guy. We were hitting like the 786 every time we started to roll over. So you need that stop loss. If you in Netflix, you need that stop loss. Trust me. Spot, even with a stop loss. Because if it comes back down here and it breaks that 80, yeah, the journey can continue, and it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Something has changed. Sometimes things change, but it loves that 786, as you can see. As you can see, it loves that 786. All of the big runs, it loves that 786. But I will be having to wait for this break right here to happen too. So you can see I'm looking at another level in here as well before it even manages to do something like that. I'm going to make my attempts at the longs just because it's selling off quite a bit. So I'm going to make my attempts. And if I'm wrong, I get stopped out. And at some point, I'm going to be right. At some point, I'll be right. I would take a small loss, very, 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 very small loss. As you can see, that's like a $1 stop loss already. $1 stop loss. So no worries here. No worries here. I can do another $1 stop loss somewhere in here. And at some point, I will have lost $3 and made thousands. That's how that's going to work out. Um, I don't see where my fibs are at though. I mean, not my fibs, but my VWAP. Because when I put them in here, I think the other thing I looked at in here with this is the EMA because I did make a notation about the 200, and I think I was on a weekly time frame when I was looking at the 200. No, I wasn't. What was I looking at the 200 at? Daily? Must have been daily time frame then. Yeah, it was the daily. I think, yeah, daily. Looking at that 200 EMA break. I think that's how we started it out before in the past was it broke down below that 200 and then it continued to roll over. That was why I did that. That made that notation because every time it dropped below the 200 in here off of this daily time frame, that was that was the result of these large moves to the downside like that. And I paired that with trend lines, of course, because you can see other places where it probably did come in and just barely um, grazed the surface. But right now, I'm long. Let's see how far this long gets me. I set my TP in here just to come back up. I think I was only looking at coming back up towards this standard one right here, which is currently sitting at 93. I think that's about all I did for this current long position that I'm in. Now, if I start to see it come up here and things look better, I'm canceling that take profit and moving. Well, I'm going to move that take profit up a little bit, but right now that's about all I'm looking at for Netflix in this moment. In this moment, because the last thing I want to do is to take a sniper entry and have to re-enter with another sniper entry. So I will move that take profit if it starts to look like something different, like Netflix just is reversing from here, and we're not going to see any of the stuff that I mentioned before. The worst case scenario is not going to happen, and Netflix is going to turn around from here. Right now, it hasn't lost its 200 like it did right here. Hasn't lost it. And let's go back. Yeah, hasn't lost its 200 or even this 120. We can work off of the 120. I like the 120 a lot. You can't get 120 all through here, but we're still holding that right now. We had just drop below it. Well, actually, we're still below it. We're still quite below this 120 right now. So let's see. Let's see if it starts to push up and look different. I guess especially coming back up this 120, I would move my stop loss and think that it's probably going to do more. And I'll just move my, maybe I'll trail my stop up too. That way I don't give back gains um, to the market if for some reason it fails. Well, I'm really glad I did a spot too, because if I had to wait for market open, then I wouldn't have been able to get that sniper entry. When I looked at it, I was like, yeah, on the bottom side of this channel, and just go ahead and open this up on Webull and just take that spot position since I was able to trade it during those hours. All right, Coinbase. I did move down. I did go ahead and change my monthly levels in here on Coinbase. So I moved this one down just a little bit, just to line up with the the body, because it was like right here, and it wasn't it was chopping the line a little bit too. That's cool. I'm cool with this right here. The main thing right here really is more so about the closes, like playing back above it. So I'm fine with this right here. I mean, there's the possibility that if Bitcoin, which is I don't know how that wedge on Bitcoin is going to get any tighter, but it's still ranging within that little triangle, boy. Still ranging within that little triangle. For Coinbase, it's still possible that we can come back to the lower side of this trend line right here, which is just our broadening, ascending broadening formation. But this trend line right here has been with Coinbase since here. Since here, I think that was Coinbase low. Yeah, this trend line has been with Coinbase since that. So again, if it comes back to this trend line right here, I'm looking to add to my Coinbase position. You know, the last time I caught it right here, I bought it on Webull, and I think it was also like a golden pocket retracement too. I posted on it when I bought it right here too. I said I hope that I made a good choice in buying my Coinbase right here. I think I bought Coinbase before somewhere else and then I sold it, but I'm holding on to this one right here, dear life. So if it comes back down into here, I am looking to add to this position. Maybe it even breaks over this trend line a little bit, and then I'll be looking at this monthly level right here, about 173. But right now, it is managing to hold this one right here. So here, support and resistance. And if it falls into the zone, then I guess it falls into the zone. It just falls into the zone. Every daily levels. And I just switched my bias from those to just a straight line. But as long as Coinbase isn't outside of this right here, really, the lowest low for me, like I said, it's going to be somewhere down here at this trend line right here. That's going to be it for me in terms of adding to my Coinbase position. I sit on my hands if Coinbase does decide it wants to lose this trend line right here. But like I said, this is the low. This trend line has actually been here ever since I was able to make a connection off of it. That's how long I've had this trend line sitting on my chart. It's been here just that long. And what I was using with this was my QTD, which I don't have in here. I was using my QTD, and my QTD gave me the indication that we were at the top every time for Coinbase. Even though I've never taken a short on Coinbase, never. So that's what I'm looking at for Coin. I like where we are right now. If we can manage to hold it, great. We get a little push up. We did see a rejection from here the last time. Hear what I mean right here. But there is a possibility that if we break it this time, if we manage to get a break on, it just depends on what Bitcoin is doing. I'm just going to be looking up here at 304. break to the downside. This is what I'll be looking at right here, what the trend line is. Maybe even just dropping over this trend line a little bit for that 173. But that's it. That's it. I will be buying right here. So that's my plan to buy down here. I'm not doing anything in here. This is the middle for me. Yeah, this is the middle for me. I'm not doing anything right here. I am interested in here. And if I draw a fib on this, let's see. I have a fib in here already. No, I don't have a fib in here already. So let me just draw a fib on this. Yep. I love it all day long. Down here. Down here. I love it all day long down there at the bottom side of this trend line. Come back to it, and I'm a buyer once again. Hood. I'm not gonna be able to see all my mess if I'm on this time frame right here. But Hood did get a breakdown below this trend line right here. It's doing its best to try and reclaim it. Um, once Hood breaks below here, it's likely going to be some sort of an expansion taking place. I will have to reassess that, and then I'll be looking for Hood to come down here between this golden pocket and the 786, where we have this ascending trend line down here for Hood. I've mentioned this quite a few times on Hood, actually. You know that when Hood dropped, I bought Hood at 102. Was it 102 or was it 100? Might have been 102. I can't remember. But I posted on it when I did it. And I think, I posted on it. I may have mentioned it in the stream too, but I definitely posted on it on X when I bought it because I was looking for Hood to continue. But instead of Hood doing that, Hood bounced up on me and did this little move right here. And I was at that time saying that I thought that Hood could get down to about $65. So I set up some limit orders to buy it. I set up some limit orders to buy it, but yeah, it did that number right there. So I think I'm currently. I'll tell you exactly what price. It might have been 102 because Hood got its earnings, and I said to you, I said I know that the earnings are going to be good, but it has bearish divergence on it, and to me the chart looks like it's going to drop, and that's what happened that day. Right after earnings, it dropped, and then I picked some up. And no, you know what it was? It wasn't even that. It was here. My bad. Let me correct myself. I did not get Hood down here. It wasn't this bounce right here for me. It was this bounce right here that took place off of Hood. I picked it up at 125, and then I made reference to it coming lower, and I had buy areas through here, but the final was going to be I think it was $65. But then it got this bounce right here, and then price action went. It continued. It continued down because this right here was the earnings right here. This is where earnings happened at right here with the double top formation in here, and I think I had the measured move in here for it, which is why I ended up buying it right here at the 125, and then it got this bounce up off of some news or something like that. It got this bounce up, and I was like, well, I'm okay. I didn't get all the buys that I wanted for it in here, but I can't complain because I'm in profit. And then this right here happened. I did not pick up any right here. I did not pick that up. The Hood is trying right here. Um, trying to hold back inside, back above, I mean, this area right here. But an expansion will take place, and Hood will end up somewhere down here around about the golden pocket 786 retracement level, especially if it's not able to get back above 122 in here. This is good that it is back above here, but in its process of doing that, these lows could act as resistance, and we see it roll back down this trend line right here once again. And second time, it's not going to be pretty. With that, that's going to get us these levels in here for Hood, which I am a buyer of. I would love a $65 Hood. Would you not? Would you not? I mean, Hood just under $100. Under $100. Like, yeah, yeah. And it's continuing to break market structure, lower highs and lower lows. Lower highs and lower lows until it does something different. Lower highs and lower lows right now. It is a downtrend. Nothing to circle. I think that's where I'm cutting it off at right here. Went through Hood, went through Coinbase, went through Netty. Looking pretty decent. Meta continuing to get that push. Meta. Meta is one that I had no problems on trading on BTCC. I think I talk about some of the ones that I'm just not liking when it comes to trading. Intel is one I'm not liking when it comes to trading on BTCC. Like I love Palantir on BTCC because I can just put in a market order on it, and if you do a market order with Palantir, it puts you in exactly where market is at. If you do a market order with Netflix, even a limit order with Netflix, it's not going to put you in where you're asking to be put in. That it's gonna put you in the negative. And that's the same thing with Intel. It's not going to put you in at that market value. It's going to put you in the negative. I don't have that problem with Palantir. I don't have that problem when I do Nvidia. I don't have that problem when I do Apple, and I don't have that problem when I do Hood. Now, those other ones, Intel problem, Netflix problem. So I didn't mind doing Netflix on spot either. I did not mind doing it on spot because I'm not going to go in at a loss. If I had tried that on BTCC, they probably would have set my entry. I don't know where, but I wouldn't have got no sniper entry, that's for sure. That looks nice. Meta, the little push up this morning. Recover Uber. Tesla still struggling around that gap fill right there. So maybe it will get that little pullback, and I don't want it to tap the trend line too many more times, but maybe it will get a little bit of a pullback, and then you can catch an entry off Tesla. Microsoft, this is going to be a beautiful long. I'm telling you, it's going to be a beautiful long. If I can just get what I'm looking for here on Microsoft, I would absolutely love that, to just get what I'm looking for in here, and that is this measure move to be finished out. This got to be filled. At the end of the day, come back to this low. At the end of the day, that's what I would like. But there is some unusual options activity happening on it, and I think, let me check and see if there's some unusual options volume, because that's going to make a difference. I'm not really seeing anything in terms of that. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything in terms of that. This is, yeah, but just the unusual options activity anyway. You see Netflix all up in here. Microsoft calls, Netflix calls, loving it. Intel put, I was trying to short Intel yesterday. I didn't like my entry that they gave me, number one. Like I said, I'm gonna harp about that entry. I didn't like that entry they gave me. So it wasn't a winner. see. AMD is all through here too. Get back on my tab if my computer moves. Bitcoin's still squeezing tighter in that little wedge. I'm hoping big money is going to reverse this right here and just put a. I'm going to label this as previous day high. Since this takes after hours. Let's see what happens from here. And Google. That's here. That's it on these babies. Oh, Apple. I didn't even cover Apple with you. I did post on Apple as well. Like I said, with Apple. I mentioned that maybe on the week. Maybe I was on the month. Kind of add when I'm doing my data. I'll tell you what. I did here. Yeah, I did that. You can see we came back up here and we got a rejection off that big block along with that trend line that we got to break down from right here. And come over here on the weekly. I was trying to find my notes and not popping up. No, I did not put my notes in here for this one. I will call out. Anyway, I just tell you, it's just not coming up. Okay, so we got the bear flag situation in here. We're around the golden pocket and also holding this standard one right here. I was looking for VWAP to actually hold in here along with the ascending trend line. That did not happen. So I don't know why this call out. So that did not hold. I mentioned in my tweet yesterday that if it does manage to reclaim back above here, then I'm interested in Apple again. If Apple doesn't manage to reclaim back above here, then I'm interested in this area right here where we have the golden pocket. We also have the mean reversion that takes place here. We have VWAP sitting here as well. And it's also the measured move for the bear flag. Let's just say you were taking a measured move from here to here on this. And I hate bear flag. I really, really do. That's the breakdown. And you can see how that measure move fits so perfectly right there. So there are 4 things that I like about this level right here for Apple, if Apple gives that to me. Otherwise, I need for Apple to reclaim back above this first VWAP right here, this trend line, that 786, and I'm game. Otherwise, this is a no trade zone, and I'm waiting for this to happen with Apple. Again, that's golden pocket, that's a mean reversion, that's VWAP, and it's also the measured move for that bear flag. That is some great confluence. That's some great things saying to me by Apple here. I will test out the water. That's all I'm saying about that Apple uh, setup. I am willing to test out the water if this happens right here. Now, surprisingly, Apple did not respect this VWAP. And the way I do my VWAPs is whatever that low was, I want to plot it on that. Now, it did like it the first time, but usually I just didn't feel like counting that one. This one right here worked for this low. That's how I like to see it, like that. Then I'm able to drop a trend line on it and say, okay, yeah, it's in line with it's in sync with the trend line. This should be where the VWAP and everything just lines up, but it didn't, and that's okay. So, I mean, that's why I said if it reclaims it, then I'm gonna love it. If it doesn't, it's a no trade area right here. I'm just waiting on this to happen. So this is the setup right here. Setup right here. Can I put a long thing in here? I didn't. And that's okay. I'm interested in longer in here. The more, the closer I can get it to this, the better I'm gonna like it. And I'm gonna need for Apple to come all the way back up here, honey. That's what I'm gonna need. That's 21. Let's get it. That's 21. It's a $2 difference. I love it. The 32 is $2 difference. Yeah, I will be looking for this. And I think that was it. I think I showed you when we covered gold, covered all of that. And Nvidia at best just came back into this gap that's here. That's it. We're still within the boundaries of this triangular formation right now. Um, just like this. Momentum is down there. Um, if I look at Nvidia, because I have it, just because I have this, we called this the last time. Let me push that on the monthly because I think I was more interested in the monthly at the time. Uh, yeah. So like if Nvidia loses, um, I did some studies in here a long time back, but I don't want to get into all of that. Let me just turn it on real quick just to see what I had. That way I can see what time frame I was actually looking at too. Yeah, I was all over there with that. So yeah, it's been a long time since I'm gonna go ahead and delete all this. That was a long time ago. I mean, ultimately, I would love to, you know, Nvidia back in here. If we start to lose that structure, that triangle formation, which you can see it, through here. The lines are not showing up on this monthly time frame, but you can see it through here. There's one area right here about 153, and then the next one is going to be here. That puts us closer to the dynamic cloud in here, just like it did over here. So this is where I'd be interested in adding more to my NVIDIA bag at right here, assuming that NVIDIA is going to hold in here. I don't know why I still have these in here, but I have them in here for something. I have them here for something. Let's see on a weekly time frame. 2 week, 2 week, 2 week, 2 week. Yeah, 2 week has been the go-to in here over that. So yeah, everything still lines up into here. So somewhere right around in here. And that's 131 to about 115, something like that. Currently, that's what it is. Let's see if this decides to change. Put on 3 week and just see. Yeah, it's still somewhere down through here. Plus this trend line right here. Otherwise, I'm just playing the little ranges in here on NVIDIA, and I only look at this on higher time frames. If I start to drop down lower, it doesn't have that same effect. It doesn't really have the same effect for me. Um, I hate when price action does this. You have a trend line through here. It breaks it. It goes down a little bit, and then it does this. It looks like it fails for some reason. But ultimately, we start to lose this. Oh, so you can't see it because of the time frame. You can't see it because the chart I'm not on. We start to lose that. That's where my attention comes to down here towards our trend line down here. So yeah, I think that was it. I think that was absolutely it. I'm gonna put this back on Palantir. You can see that better. That's our standard one that we managed to hold. We got that little move down below it, but we managed to reclaim back above it. We lose that. I'm looking for that mean revert. But right now, this has the test of time so far. And every time people get bearish on it, oh, head and shoulder formation, which I don't want to dismiss that at all, because this could be the one time where it actually does do that, where it actually does. Um, Let me fix that. It could be the one time where the bears get it right, you know, because it's been hard on the bears trying to call Palantir. In fact, when I bought Palantir at $13, um, it has some sort of a bearish pattern down there at the very low. And I said, nah. And I loaned it, and I didn't think I was going to get that lucky off of it. I mean, I wasn't thinking about Palantir getting to any of these prices, and that's what happened. Um, Bitcoin's still squeezing. Mm. And I have no idea where this break is going to happen at if it happens, and it validates this, you know, what looks like a head and shoulder formation, but it never works out great, right? You got a head and shoulder right here. It never These bearish patterns never work out on Palantir. They never do. They never do. I think that's what everybody was looking at down here too, a head and shoulders, and I was like, I'm gonna buy that. But I no longer hold any Palantir now. I sold most of the position around 105 or something like that. It was somewhere through here. I sold most of the position out there. And then what I had left in it, I think I dropped the rest of it like right here, over here. I didn't catch the top. I know that for sure. And this, like I said, I think that will continue up as long as we're holding, as long as we're respecting this, basically this 165. As long as we're respecting that 165, I think we'll continue up. We'll break back above here and we'll continue, back towards the top side of this trend line in here, this channel. That's my thoughts. All right, so that's it for that. I'm gonna take us back over here to Bitcoin. But like I said, we're still just within this range in here, so nothing has changed in here. I'm gonna stretch this out, but before I do it, because I'm very OCD these trend lines, I have to do it like this first. Uh-oh, something isn't adding up for me. And stretch it out a little bit more. I love when I see people draw trend lines without assistance. I do. But one thing for sure, I put something in here that's gonna be on the money. I'm gonna connect those dots right. I don't know how I missed that. It's interesting. Silver joking around the standard. This is from the daily. Ethereum still holding up. Solana still holding. Dusk. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. That's already got a back test. So maybe a bump and run can happen right here and a continuation down here on dusk. But this is a 1 hour time frame. So let me not be. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is rolling over. At least it's attempting to. See if I change that RSI. Didn't. I don't like the that we have in here, but yeah, it's attempting to roll over. We'll see what success it has with it. So far successful. So far successful. That little line there a few minutes ago. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes, you have to use them inversely. Meaning if it pops out here long it. Um, if it rolls back over below it, be looking to short it, like pops out. You have to use the inverse because that means that the momentum isn't there and it's gonna roll over. So pops out, momentum isn't there, it will roll over, pops out, pushes up, momentum isn't there, then it will roll over. Something there. Take a look at Rose. Ooh. We talked about that day though, so I don't feel any kind of way about that. I said it didn't look like it was gonna go any further. And it didn't. That was on Tuesday. That was on Tuesday. I said I make that a TP area. See what that 786 rejection. Let's see if we bear div again. It looks like we bear div again. And then we hit the golden pocket back test after the bearish divergence. I need to change that. Let me see. Yeah, so you know your setup. If you're watching Oasis, even anything else, you get a big swing and you got a bearish divergence. Once that bear div starts to play out and it starts to push back in, put on your golden pocket 786. That's usually where it starts to play out at. I think that was the scenario right here as well, um, where it put in the bear div here. I think. No, it wasn't that. What time frame were we looking at? I don't recall how we figured out that entry. Oh, it was already bearishly driving up, and that was why. That was why with that one. This could be a new position right here. Let me see this one over. I gotta drop that. I need RSI though. So cannot live my life without it. I got so many RSIs in here. Yeah, there it is. There it is there. Between this one right here. There's divergence. Break of the signal line through here. I'll put this candle right here. Then start to break the signal line right here. Barely trying to hold on in here. There's no bearish divergence between this point right here, but usually that's a good entry right there. You have a bear div, you get a drop down, you come back up and golden pocket. I already missed 786, so the only entry that's left is to try this one right here. And then if it's wrong, cut it. If you're looking to short this one, no confirmation down through here, but this is toppy. Could also wait for another SFP in here as well. So those would be your two options in here on this right here. Is to consider the short from where it is right now, unless this candle braces back in a little bit. You can wait an hour to see how this candle closes right here, since it's not actually taking out any candle lows through here so far. Yeah, it's not taking out any candle lows in here inside bar candle at the moment. So option one is SFP. And option two is going to be just let this candle right here come back in somewhat. seems to like that. And just bring it in here just ever so slightly. Let's see. Change that. And then you're looking for this right here to, I mean, if you're going to do the SFP, I might as well set this directly on top of this right here. Directly on top of this right here. What is that though? 4. How much was this one? 3, 4. Not using a lot of leverage is the main thing. I mean, this price is so cheap, right? This price is so cheap. You can 1x this, and it'll be as close as you can get to spot trading, but able to take a short position on it. And then, yeah, I mean, there's no reason to use high leverage on this. Is Bitcoin breaking out? I think it is. Okay, it did manage to get to that standard. All right, I'm gonna drop rows and go back over here to Bitcoin chart. I just don't want you to have to try to take it from here, but yeah, it's looking like it's coming down. It's looking like it's coming down. I'm gonna change this. Put this here. Set this here. That's a 786. Drop this 50 on here. For this. And if this double top situation right here plays out, because that I think that looks like it would be the measured move. Well, Bitcoin's pushing up. Let me see. Looks like it's rejected though. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, just aiming for this low through here. We'll let this candle close. Otherwise, it's going to be too late, and we'll just look at something else. Who else was it that we were looking at? Power. All right. So this was the first level of interest for power. Power for potential short was around this resistance in here. And see, it got some sort of a reaction in here, but then it managed to keep going. And then this was the second option for the short position on power right here, which this one right here. This has already started to reclaim. So I guess this happened yesterday. No, this happened today. Okay, so kind of missed this today, but this is what we did. I think we did this stuff right here on, okay, so on Monday, we looked at this, Monday or Tuesday, something like that. We looked at power. This thing looked like it straight up flip bullish though. It wasn't looking too bad. Let me see. Because that was the FFG, fair value gap. Two, fair value gap, one right here. All right. Look like a straight up flip bullish though. Oh, it did. It did. It was already looking really good. I just didn't review that. Might not want to try to short this. Look up. Next gap up here. Price might be able to get up here. Rejection on Bitcoin. Hard rejection. Hard rejection. OMG. Hard rejection. Hard rejection. Hard rejection. This is it. that SFP back into here. Let's see what's happening. I'm gonna go back to power in just a second. This could be where I get stopped out at right here. Harsh rejection. Let's see. And that's why it was important to not try to take that first little breakout, but to move it up enough. Harsh rejection. I already have a short, so I just get stopped out of the long position and let this short rock and roll. But this is the short right here. I mean, you could have taken that SFP. Sorry, I wasn't over here, guys. Could have taken that SFP. Make sure you can DJ in it if you already missed that SFP. You can DJ in it if you want to. 10 minutes till it's closed. And just keep that stop loss right here. Just use that same stop loss right here. That's 90,231.75 if you're using finance. That's what it is. The only other thing that this could be doing is I have to change the pattern. That's the only other thing I can think of. I would have to change the boundaries of this pattern. And I just tapped that standard 2. It just tapped it. So that's why I hate this gap. See this gap right here. This gap between this blue line and this yellow one. I used to talk about this all the time a couple of years back. I used to talk about how whenever this gap is through here, I know the price is squeezing. But if the RSI breaks above this yellow line right here first, um, with this gap, that it would print out an impulsive candle to the downside or upside. Just depends on okay, trying to get the extension now. There you go, baby. There you go, baby. There you go, baby. All right. Yeah, but this isn't coming up. It's not crossing above the yellow, so I like to see it cross above the yellow. I want for it to be synchronized, in sync, chronological. It's not that. Oh, I have to slide this over because I think it's trying to do it like this because otherwise it's showing that the pattern is, I'm sorry, the trade is invalidated. Let's see if I set it like that, then it's already showing that it's already been stopped out, and that hasn't been the case. It actually just hit that entry level. So Told you what the stop was at, but let me, I'm gonna put the price labels on this one so you can see it over here now. I'm not gonna turn this one on unless this one becomes a thing. It's not expanding right now. I really want to see that that V shape. I don't see a V shape right now. And if you want that stop to be raised, you can raise that stop loss above this wick right here also. I'm just going to leave it as is, but it can be raised. It won't really hurt anything to raise it. It's already just at a 52.52, which isn't bad. So if it's raised, then it'd be like a 64 like that. Um, or let me set it on this. And then that way I can push it back in and we can really see it. And then that way we can see it on there like so. Okay, because it did, that was the entry. Still a good 3. I might as well adjust this one too, right? Just in case it's a failed breakdown. Right? This is swing failure, just in case. Maybe not 760. I was going though. I'll go ahead and do this still. Six. I'm still not seeing that V in here that I want to see. I don't like that because what that's doing right now, you're not seeing that V. Yeah, I got stopped out of that too. I'll go ahead and share that. I executed my long position wrong, but I'm still not mad at it. And that's where I got stopped out. Remember, I said I set the stop loss. I set the stop loss for this low right here. I got triggered into the position off of the low of the wedge right here. Technically, I was trying to do it for here, but because it was off in price action, it didn't do it, which is fine. It's not that much. And I put that line in here because, in my opinion, um, I mean, the RSI looks like it's moving pretty fast against here. I don't really see there's the V right there. It's going to swing back up here or something. It's that first bit of bullish divvy that we got right here started creating this pattern through here. Got the bullish divvy right here. That was the second bullish divvy. First one was this right here. That pretty bullish divergence right here against here. See that? Bullish divvy. Your stop loss doesn't have to be up there, but it did make sense for me to move it for the trade. Um, so otherwise, it's just not going to read right for one. Let me see how I can help. Sort of freezing right here a little bit. Let me see. Hi, Loza. Yep, chop, chop, chop. Every morning. Chop, chop, chop. Then it gets worse the first 15 minutes stock market opens. Which we're gearing up for 24 hours. So, ooh, that's going to be nice. We don't have to trade the weekends, but it would be nice if it was 24/5. It's so close to market open. So, don't really know how things are going to go. We're so close to market open. That power chart looks pretty good, Listen. That power chart That's pretty good. So a little slight rejection trying to come back into standard 2 there, which means this expansion could be legit. Legit to quit. Yes, we do see that reclaim back in at 89,731 as it stands, which would mean back above this low. Let's go Bitcoin. You know what? I've been trying to figure out how I get that, get a chime to be able to know that there's somebody in here that's saying something, but it doesn't. I have to figure it out. I have to figure it out. I think I have to request it or something like that. It may be a feature that I have to pay for an add-on to get. Unless it's something I can do in YouTube to get it. But yeah, because my helper, you know whose channel this is the Corn King's channel. He's supposed to assist me, but it doesn't always happen. Sometimes he'll just go in and comment, and he won't tell me anything. He'll just comment. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, I try to get him to help me and let me know when I'm going through the charts. Um, but it's hard. I don't like how it's slowed down right here. I don't like that. Um, it did slow down, and now it's just an inside bar. For an impulse, or an expansion, it should continue with this. If it stays like this, then it could be looking to reclaim back into that Bollinger and then reverse. Yes, equal lows. I'm talking about this one right here. Well, no, not that one. Uh, I gotta find the right time frame to be on. But I tell you, I want these equal lows down here. That would be nice. Reclaim all of this right here, and then take out the liquidity right here at these equal lows right here. And then I'll look to take a new long down here. Fair value gap. We go for the fair value gap below. There. Now, this one right here has already been tapped from this one right from that. This one has. It can again turn into an inverse. Yeah, see this one was tapped through here, and actually twice right there. Yeah, it could continue to work as an inverse. Actually, we haven't broke it, so it's not considered to be an inverse. We haven't broke down below it to reclaim above it, but it could. Yeah, it could. They could just be taking the orders from in here to reverse it and push it back up. Good call, Loza. Good call on that. Yeah, that's what we have to look at. Yeah, good call on that. I know that if we're coming up, then this is what I'm looking for. It's 92 right here. There are some fair value gaps up there for that. Yeah. So, 91.1. So somewhere around where we were, we have these clusters of candles right here. Yeah, we're around about in here. We'll keep my eyes on that because we're moving pretty slow right now. That is a problem. But 30 minutes out from market open. So um, I hate all this chop through here. Okay, 91, 91. Okay. I think that was that bad. Slide this over so I can see when we actually do. It actually does come up towards that. Can't be good that we got that nice little candle right there, and then we got the doji right behind it on the expansion. That can't be good. Okay. Yeah. Very possible. Very, very, very possible. Because it is moving rather slow and it should be moving with this sort of acceleration. We still have to reclaim back inside of this 89, 641 right now, but still moving very slow for an expansion. It's not ideal. Um, Plus, the RSI is moving rather fast as opposed to, yeah, it's moving rather fast as opposed to price action. Price action is moving a lot slower, which means bullish divergence is coming into play. Likely to do one of these right here. Here. Likely to do one of these numbers right here. It's a good plan. So with this gap right here, you wanting to at least get down to about the midsection of it, I'm assuming. Right now it is just holding the top of it. I wouldn't mind that. I could, that might be actually good because, yeah, like I said, RSI is moving faster than price action. Price action is moving slow relative to that, which indicates some underlying strength through here. Um, selling pressure being absorbed. But if it did do that and took this the liquidity right here, maybe back test, yeah, on this trend line right here, like Ethereum did before. Yeah, I see that. Now the 4 hour, not for nothing, but um, mentioned this something about before. Uh, that price could come back and back test on this 50 right here, just because it's still, it's slowed down. It's positive. It's nice that it's above it. The price action could always drop back in here just to back test that. Would be like I was mentioning over here. You're above it over here, but it's still kind of sloping down, so you get a push up, a minor push up right there, and then a back test on that. Um, and I know that we were hitting the resistance from these lows to here, which is why we started creating that pattern, that little wedgie formation to start with, because of the resistance from these lows. I'm going to turn that off because of the resistance from these lows in here being hit. So it is going to be some work, but if price does get above this, and yeah, the long is going to look better. It's going to be hard trying to long into these lows. And the other thing I was mentioning is that how hard this area was on us beforehand, because you can see how we struggled with the same area that we're at now, right here. We struggled right here. We struggled right here. We eventually broke above it, came back and held that support, but now we're back below it and we're back to struggling with it. So if I stretch this out, you can see this is the same struggle area right here where price is rejecting from currently. So it's a very delicate area right here to consider the long. Um, having a successful long from. It's essentially, it's buying into the resistance with the hope that it manages to break through. I will try to long again. I will give it a shot again. I would really like to be able to get it from here. Price comes in, takes out the sell side liquidity down below here. and then into a long position. It'll put me away from, well, yeah, if we take this liquidity and then we get a nice reaction off of it, that's a good entry. I still try this, but it is a challenge. It's a trouble, very troublesome area for Bitcoin. Very troublesome. We had like some minor bearish divergence here on this 4 hour time frame as well. I think, let me see here. Two. No biggie with that. Um, on my first move down, I lock in 50%. hmm And then, and that's just in case the position is, I lock in 50% on my first move. And then after that, um, if I start locking in another half every time it hits one of the levels, it just depends if I'm going to do a half, if I'm going to do a quarter. But the first take profit is always 50% for me. And I'm pretty good about moving my stop loss when I do my first take profit. I'm pretty good about moving it, but if I don't move it, then and the trade gets invalidated early, and I don't lose anything on it because I've already hit a 1-to-1 and I've already taken half on it. But in the event that, uh, I mean, if I do move it, then of course I lock in more. But if I let's just say it just comes down here to profits locked on this one right here, and then it decides to go against this trade without moving the stop loss, and it's just a break even trade. But for this situation right here, I would move it slightly. It wouldn't make sense to leave it up there, but I can't do it right now because it's going to show the trade has already been stopped out. But I'm not in this short. I'm not in this short because I already have a short position open. I'm really looking for a long right now. In this case right here, this would just be a loser because it manages to not get down there, at least to the first one. Hopefully it's a bump and run. It's good so far. Mina. I used to love Mina. I'm not sure what CLO is, but I used to love Mina. Okay. Small position. Great idea. I was just saying about that too. Like some of them, some of these altcoins, just taking a short, don't really need that. Don't really need that kind of leverage. Especially if they're not. I mean, if they're not like Bitcoin or Ethereum. Something that's really expensive. They're a couple of pennies or under a penny. When you're looking to short, it's better to eliminate as much liquidity from that as you possibly can. So I think the lowest you can do is like one. Even that big millionaire whale, he's only using like a 4% leverage, which makes sense, especially um, because of the kind of money that he's using. We're back above that standard one. Yeah, that cool off started to happen really, really quickly. Let's see how we do from here. Did you see power? All right, just a few minutes left here before market open. Loza, why are you up in the middle of the night? I've been wanting to ask you that too. Okay. I'm usually up during the night myself. My body's just kind of trained to be awake at those times. I've been up since 12 a.m. And surprisingly, I'm not sleepy yet. Yeah, we definitely waiting on, like you were saying, market open. We have have market data today. Yep. We already had the unemployment claims, which came in good. We had the final GDP quarter over quarter, which came in good. And so yeah, 10, we're waiting on that core PCE. It was a nice volatility yesterday. I'll tell you that much. It was a nice volatility yesterday. I was happy for it. The only thing I traded yesterday was Palantir. That was it. And I took a long on, I took a spot long on Netflix as far as, because that spot, I'm not counting that one. I used a little bit of leverage on Palantir. And that's the only actual trade I took yesterday. I took two long trades on it. I took one long trade yesterday, and I'm sorry, and then one long trade on Monday. Tuesday. One long trade on Tuesday, one long trade yesterday. Yeah, we need that 10 a.m. data. Oh, sorry to hear about your injury. That has to be rough. Really sorry to hear about that. It's a dangerous job, Loza. That is a dangerous job. It's a brave job. Yeah, I'm glad you're okay following that. I am afraid of heights. Although I will ride a roller coaster. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be a rough floor recovery, considering. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough floor recovery. I'm wishing you the best. Ooh, holidays. We're expecting a snowstorm to come through. It's really for Georgia. It's not about the snow. Everyone would love to have some snow to go outside and play in. We're just not. We're not built for ice, and that's what happens to us here. Is everything like the roads ice up, and no one can drive. It's supposed to happen this weekend. Grocery stores are mayhem right now. Perfect little alignment on these lows through here. Like 5 minutes. Get a real direction. Oh my gosh. Landslides? Lightning strikes. What? That's crazy. I mean, we some big babies around here. And it doesn't even be that bad, to be honest. But we're some big babies around here. That sounds horrible right there. I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Once I get off stream, I'm gonna take a look at that. I can't wait to talk to you about it because that is, yeah, need some Usies around here with with a little ice on the road. I tried driving on ice one time, one, and I never made that attempt again. And the crazy thing was, I tapped the brakes, which was terrible. I tapped the brakes. I was going over a bridge, and all I could do was go straight. I had to take my foot off the brakes. And I just had to let the car go where the car was going to go. And I was lucky that there was no incoming traffic because I went straight through a red light. So no cars hit me. I just laid on the horn, and took my foot off the brakes and just kind of controlled the steering wheel. And I was trying to go to a job I didn't have to go to either because, you get a pass for stuff like that. But I tried to get to work that day to try to, you know, some sort of merit. Let's get rooftop. Jeez. Oh, I see images of it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes, this is, let's see this right here. This is, it's rough. See a lot of other images in here too, but that's, mm, see helicopters flying over the rest of the people. Oh, jeez. I see a family of 7 were trapped on the rooftop of their home. I'm not going to even try to pronounce these words. Oh my gosh. Everything around them was destroyed. Um, get opened. Volunteer took a nuke. I can't wait to find my next long position on this. All right. Bitcoin. No extreme volatility just yet. I guess it is 10 o'clock that we're actually going to see that today. But I am not going to be able to stick around for 10 o'clock. So here's the game plan. um, Lock profit should be 89,180 if price manages to get down here. That's just shy of hitting the half point midpoint of the fair value gap that's through here. That's been holding up as some pretty decent support. Like I said, with that 4 hour or just charts period, we are hitting some major resistance through here, and it has been resistance quite a while. I'm still willing to attempt at a long position. Let's just say for some reason at 10 o'clock that news comes out, it would have to be a strong push to the break to break through that resistance. So um, that's something to. There's an attempt worth taking, um, but only if the conditions are right for it. It has to be an impulsive move. Otherwise, I'm looking to get long if we come down and take the liquidity from the low in here, which means we take out that liquidity there and we take out that semi-equal low liquidity. That's a lot easier to visualize from here. So if we start to take out this liquidity down to here, any of this would really be nice. You see, we just tapped the top of that yesterday. That was it with that 786. And so we didn't actually grab any of the liquidity that's through here. So I love for that to happen. Yeah. Resistance. It's resistance. It's resistance. But we get through that, then you know, I'm trying to really think if I want to wait until we can get above it, or I mean, if we get down here, then I'm going to take the long for sure. If we come into this liquidity, I'm going to take the long for sure. I'm far enough away from this to not really care too much about it, and I already have locked in some profit should that happen. But let's see what that short gives. If it's gonna push through, because it's pretty slow right now. It is. I mean, it is holding support. Like we're just trapped. We're just kind of trapped. Either side, we're just trapped, which is causing us to you know, form this pattern to start with. Pattern can be redrawn. It can be redrawn. This should definitely be the first to take profit if we get down here to it, simply because that is that same trend line from the lows that we were managing, that we managed to get back above. So if it holds it, um, this should still be a first TP in here. Just a wick down through it to hit that 1-to-1. There it goes. Nice, nice, nice. Don't do that just yet. Give me more of a wick and hit this level. Give me more of a wick. I'll tap in this level. But yeah, that's, I mean, oh, it's rolling. That's what I'm looking for, guys. Whether or not this plays out fully, I don't know. That's the setup. So hopefully it does. Hopefully it does. Hey, profits locked. Stop can be moved. But if you don't move it and it goes against you, then just depending on where you got in at. But that, yeah, I was running my mouth flipping through here when that SFP happened. Um, maybe somebody chose to get in there. Maybe somebody chose to get in as we got that SFP and we started to break here earlier. But that part is done. I appreciate you, Lowe's. I really appreciate you. Some people saying the local code, and the chop around it. Whatever you grab then go up. Yeah, we can. I'm thinking the same thing. Is possible that that could happen. My only, yeah, I mean, it's possible that it could happen because I mean, I'm still safe with saying, hey, RSI is traveling a lot faster than price action is. Like we're moving slow through here. But whatever happens from this point, yeah, I'm still gonna wait, take my long entry, and just two things that I'm gonna look for is gonna either be we're getting down here into this liquidity, or even just taking this liquidity right here. I need one of those two things. That or we getting above resistance. Um, I guess we'll find out at 10. If we start to move with a large candle, then I will take the trade regardless of the resistance in here. I will take the trade. But otherwise, this is just chop for me. I need to see, now that we're so far away from it, I really need to see this right here do something like that. I really need to see that because it's just going to be volatility. And we're going to come up, reject, come down, support, come up, reject, come down, support. I don't like it. Can't get me into it like this. That was a nice move right there yesterday. liquidity pumped into the market. I just don't know right now, but I can see how slow we're moving. I have to acknowledge that. A lot of respect for holding that trend line. Stick around to see it get stopped out, and then I'm gonna go. Nah, I didn't need to read the indicators and to set them up properly in the settings. I can see divergence sometimes, so you can't predict based on the time frame, RSI, etc. It's pretty. I guess the hardest one to see is going to be the hidden divergence. It can be um, rather difficult to see that one. And then you know what? Sometimes if you're just using one indicator, you won't see the divergence. Just like in here, if you got anything in here, it was really more so exaggerated divergence. Really hard to see from there. A lot easier to see it from here. A lot easier to see the divergence right here. That particular divergence against this low right here, as opposed to the RSI. It can be very difficult. I like to use this right here a lot because it's divergence is always pretty clear on this. Always really clear on this one right here on volatility. But yeah, like you can just draw a trend line. It's magnetized. You can just draw a trend line, to see where your price is compared to your RSI. If the RSI is what you're using to say if the RSI is below here, my price is below here, then I don't have any divergence. And there's always going to be like this internal structured stuff in here. I don't like that one, so I wouldn't use that because you're having to break through. Yeah, you haven't. Yeah, I don't like that one. This right here, though, RSI is moving really fast in here, um, and we're nowhere near this low. We're nowhere near that low. So whatever happens in here, it's not going to go too far before it comes back up. And then we'll see if it gives a bump and run or if it just breaks out to the upside. This is way too fast. This is probably like a 382 retracement right now too, which is bullish if it is like a 382. Let me see. Yeah, it's a 382 retracement so far, and that's it. That what's gonna happen? Let's switch it. So I know that that's 382 out there. See if I care about the 50. No, I don't care about the 50. I love you, Loza. I'm gonna go. All right. So the rundown has been given, and it's been a long stream already. So I will see you tomorrow morning. Hopefully this plays out. Can always move the stop for that 3-1. I'm at 88. I was really again just looking forward to get back down here. This is the daily standard 2 right here. So just really looking to see if it can't do this, but it is holding on around in here. It is holding on. So we'll see. Profits locked. Enjoy the rest of your day.